Good afternoon, all. So this is week 5 problem solving session. It's the fabrication technique for MEMS-based sensor, clinical perspective. So I'm Arpita Biswas, a PhD scholar in electrical engineering from IIT Jodhpur. So let's wait for 2-3 minutes and then we will start the session. Hello, am I audible? So this is about me. So let's start the session. This is the question number 1. Which of the following is the process is preferred to clean a new wafer after the procurement? First is the Fehrenau cleaning process. Second is the solvent cleaning process. Third option is the blow dry. And the fourth option is the RCA cleaning. So which one is the right answer? Take your time. There is no hurry, but at least try. So what is the right answer? The right answer is the RCA cleaning process. Okay, option D is the right answer. So next we are moving towards the question number 2. What is the difference between a cancer cell and a normal cell? So first option is cancer cell divide impressibly, whereas the normal cell do not divide. The second option is the cancer cell do not exhibit as much variability in cell size compared to the normal cells. The third option is the cancer cell do not differentiate after the division, whereas the normal cells differentiate after the division. And the fourth option is normal cell do not undergo the geneticist like cancer cells. So find out the right answer. What is the difference between a cancer cell and a normal cell? The first option is cancer cell divide impressively where the normal cell do not divide. The second option is cancer cell do not exhibit as much variability uh, in cell size compared to the normal cell. And third option is cancer cell do not differentiate after the division, whereas the normal cell differentiate after the division. The fourth option is the normal cell do not undergo the angiogenesis like cancer cell. So what is the right answer? Take your time, but at least try. So the right option is option C. Okay. The cancer cell do not differentiate after the division, whereas a normal cell differentiate after division. So next move towards the question number three. What are the advantages of using the microheater in biomedical devices? First option is low power consumption. The second option is high sensitivity. The third option is fast response to change in supply. And the fourth option is all of this. So go through the question carefully and try to find out the right answer. What is the right answer? What are the advantages of using microheater in biomedical devices? First option is low power consumption. The second option is high sensitivity. The third option is fast response to change in supply. And the fourth option is all of this. The right option is all of these. Because low, what are the question is what are the advantage of microheater in biomedical devices? So low power consumption, also the right answer. High sensitivity, yes, it is required the high sensitivity. First response to change in supply, yes, it's required the first response to change in supply. So the right option is all of these. Okay. So next to move toward the question number four. A silicon wafer is doped by diffusion of boron to depth of 200 nanometer to define the active device area. Next process requires to the deposition of a dioxide layer as an insulating layer. Which deposition technique can be used so that the deposition profile will remain unaltered? The first option is the APCBD, the second option is LPCBD, the third option is PCBD, and the fourth option is MOCBD. So, what is the right answer? The right option is option C, the PECVD. Okay. So next move toward the question number 5. Two SI wafer without any layer in between can be bonded using dash bonding technique. First option is the plasma, second option is the direct, third option is the epoxy, and the fourth option is the adhesive. So what is the right answer? Try to find out the right answer. So what is the right answer? The right option is option B, the direct bonding. Okay. So next to move toward the question number 6. Which of the following statements are correct? First option is DRIE provides a large aspect ratio etching capability. The second option is DRIE etches in multiple directions within the substrate. The third option is DRI enable the faster etch rate and the formation of deep etch structure. And the fourth option is DRI does not use chemicals to etch out the surface. So find out the right option. The first option is 1, 2, and 4, and the second option is 2, 3, and 4. The third option is 1 and 3, and the fourth option is 1, 2, and 3. So go through the question carefully and then try to find out the right answer. See the question carefully. Which of the following statements are correct? First option is DRIE provides a large aspect ratio etching capability. Second option is DRIE etches in multiple directions within the substrate. The third option is DRIE enables faster etch rate and the formation of deep edge structure. And the fourth option is DRIE does not use chemicals to etch out surfaces. So find out the right answer. Which of the following statements are correct? Which one is the right answer?
Option 3.
Okay. The right option is option C.
Is it correct?
Yes, it is correct answer.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So next move toward the question number 7. What is the advantage of having the diaphragm structure in microheater structure? First option is the high power consumption. The second option is no additional advantage. The third option is high resistance. And the last option is lower power consumption. So take your time and go through the question carefully. Then try to give the right answer. The right option is the option 4. Option D, the lower power consumption. Okay, because in the advantage of having the diaphragm structure in the microheater structure. And if you go through the lecture video, you can see this type of diaphragm is there. So they have made the thinner diaphragm because as the diaphragm structure is thicker, so there is required the higher power consumption. Okay, high power is required for that case. Um, but for the thinner diaphragm, they require the lower power. Okay, so the right option is the option D, the lower power consumption. So next move toward the question number 8. Which of the following statement is true? The 111 plane in SI wafer is much slower than 110 and 100 plane when exposed to wet agent that exhibit the orientation dependence. And the second option is the 100 plane in SI wafer is much slower than 110 and 111 plane when exposed to wet agent that exhibit orientation dependence. And the third option is that the 110 plane in SI wafer is much slower than 100 and 111 planes when exposed to the wet agent that exhibit the orientation dependence. And the fourth option is none of the above. So please go through the question carefully and then try to give the right answer. Then there is no hurry, you take your time, but at least try. Which of the following statement is true? The first option is the 111 plane in SI wafer H much slower than 110 and 100 plane when exposed to the wet agent that exhibit the orientation dependence. The second option is the 100 plane in SI wafer H much slower than 110 and 111 plane when exposed to wet agent that exhibit the orientation dependence. And the third option is the 110 plane in SI wafer H much slower than 100 and 111 plane when exposed to the wet agent that exhibit the orientation dependence. And the fourth option is none of the above.
First option.
Okay. Yes, the right option is the option A. The 111 plane in SI wafer is much slower than 100 and 100 plane when exposed to the wet agent that exhibit a orientation dependence. Good. So next move toward the question number 9. Which of the following is a good prognostic factor in detecting the breast cancer? The first option is the Lumor grade 3. The second option is the lymphatic and vascular invasions. And third option is lumor size. And the fourth option is ER positivity. So try to find out the right answer. Which of the following is a good prognostic factor in detecting the breast cancer?
Third one, tumor
Uh,
size.
No, no. Actually, it is not about the tumor size. The right option is the option D, the ER positivity. Okay.
Okay.
So we are move toward the question number 10. Which of the following are the properties of ACO8 pillars? So now there is if you go through the lecture, you can see there is a ACO8 pillar for cantilever type structure. And here is the question is which of the following are the properties of this ACO8 pillar? The first option is heat resistance. The second option is the low resolution. The third option is the low sensitivity and the fourth option is the low H resistance. So, which one is the right answer? The one only, and the second option is one and two only, and the third option is three and four only, and the fourth option is one, two, and three. So, which of the following are the properties of SU8 pillars? So, the right option is option A, one only. So, the following are the which of the following are the properties of SU8 pillars? So, it is only the heat resistance. Okay. So next move toward the question number 11. Which of the following techniques is used to fabricate the micro heater one silicon wafer? The first option is the wet oxidation. The second option is the photolithography. The third option is the atomic layer deposition. And the fourth option is the plasma enhanced chemical vapor deposition. So please try to find out the right answer. Which of the following technique is used to fabricate the micro heater one a silicon wafer? if you can go through the lecture, you have seen that there is a silicon wafer, and then there is a silicon dioxide is present, and after that they have deposited the nickel. Yes, for micro heater they have deposited the nickel, and on the nickel they have done the photolithography process. How they have done? The first process is with silicon, and then silicon dioxide, and then nickel. And after the nickel, there is a positive photoresist they have used. And after the positive photolithography, they have done the photolithography process. Like there are also some processes present like soft bake, hard bake, and then in the photolithography process there is a UV export, and whatever structure we need, we use this mask, and here is a mask, and then UV expose is done, and this pattern transfer on the photoresist. Okay, so on the nickel there is a photoresist is present, and below there is a silicon dioxide is present. Okay, so when it is exposed on UV expose is done, so they have done the development process. Okay. So when they have done the development process, after the development, like this type of a structure is present, like silicon oxide, and then the nickel. For micro heater, they have deposited the nickel, and there is a photoresist portion, like which portion we want to keep and which portion we want to remove. This type of structure there is present. And after the development process, they have done the etching, okay, etching of the nickel. So this type of after the etching process, this type of structure is we are getting like silicon, then silicon dioxide, then nickel. Like if we done the etching, if we use the positive like positive photolithography, then only the portion which is covered, this portion is getting stronger, and which portion is exposed on the UV light, it is become softer, and it will remove. That's why this portion is removed. Okay, and when we done the etching process, this portion will etch out. Okay, so this is the nickel, which portion is not covered with the positive photoresist, this will remove. And after that, this type of a structure we are getting. Okay. So here is the positive photoresist is also there. And in the next process, we dip this wafer into the acetone to remove this remaining photoresist. Okay. So the next process is this. So this is the oxide layer, and this is the nickel microheater. So this is the process flow of the micro heater to fabricate this micro heater. So which process we have following? Here we follow the photolithography process. Okay. So next move toward the question number 12. Which of the following material can be used for fabricating a micro heater? First option is the silicon dioxide, second is the nichrome, third is the glass, and the fourth option is photoresist. So, which of the following material can be used for fabricating a micro heater?
Option B.
Yes, the right option is option B, the nichrome. Good. So, next we are moving toward the question number 13. What is the role of acetone in the fabrication process of micro heater? So first option is to grow the silicon dioxide. The second option is to strip off the photoresist, and the third option is to deposit the nichrome, and the fourth option is to harden the silicon wafer. So go through the question carefully. What is the role of acetone in fabrication process of micro heater? To grow the silicon dioxide, to strip off the photoresist, and option C is to deposit the nichrome, and the option D is to harden the silicon wafer.
Option B.
Yes, the right option is option D. We have used the acetone to remove the we as we discussed in the earlier question also. When we want after the aging process of the nickel, when we go for the remaining photoresist removal, then we dip this wafer into the acetone, okay, to remove the photoresist. So the right option is the photoresist, to remove the photoresist. Good. So we are moving toward the question number 14. What happens to the areas of the wafer that are not exposed to the UV light when using the positive photoresist? The first option is they become stronger. The second option is they become weaker. And the third option is they evaporate. And the fourth option is they become the conductive. So go through the question carefully. What happens the area of the wafer that not exposed to the UV light when they are using the positive photoresist? Like if you see the structure, if there is a wafer is present and on the wafer there is a silicon dioxide present, and if we go for some electro deposition or the micro heater, there is some metal is present. Okay. So on the metal, we if we want to do the photolithography, we use the positive or negative. Here we use the positive photolithography. Okay, and there is a mask. Like if this portion is opaque, like this portion is covered, and this portion is this type of a structure here. And then we go for the UV exposed. Here is the UV light is coming, like this type of structure. Here is the UV light is coming. Now tell me, if it is the positive photoresist and this type of a structure we have used, then which this portion is exposed, okay, and this portion will covered. So this portion will remain or it will dissolve in the developer solution if we use the positive photoresist. It's mean which is not exposed in the UV light. So the right option is C. If we use the positive photoresist and it is exposed, it is not like this portion which is covered, this portion will harder, and which is exposed directly, it will become weaker. So it will remove when we go for the development process. So after the UV expose and the development process, we will get this type of structure. Wafer, then silicon dioxide, and after that the some metal is present, and on the metal there is a photoresist. So this portion is covered, so this it is not exposed, so it will remain. This positive photoresist is remain, and which is exposed, this is become weaker, so this portion will etch out. And the next it is covered, so it will remain, and next portion is etch out. This will remain and etch out, and this portion will remain. So this is the final structure after the development process. This is the positive photoresist. So the right option is option A. They become stronger, which is not exposed. Here you can, from this figure, you can see which is not exposed, it will remain. It means it will, it become the stronger, and which is exposed, this is etch out. So it become weaker. Okay. So the right option is option A. So next move toward the question number 50. Which of the following is the correct sequence in the fabrication process of a microheater? The first option is photolithography, second is the nichrome deposition, the third option is silicon dioxide growth, and the fourth option D is silicon dioxide growth, then nichrome deposition, then photolithography. And the third option is nichrome deposition, silicon dioxide growth, and the photolithography. And the fourth option is photolithography, silicon dioxide growth, and the nichrome deposition. So please go through the question carefully and try to solve the answer. Which of the following is a correct sequence in a fabrication process of a microheater? Photolithography, nichrome deposition, then the silicon dioxide growth. Second option is silicon deposition growth, nichrome deposition, then photolithography. The third option is nichrome deposition, silicon dioxide growth, and photolithography. And the fourth option is photolithography, silicon dioxide growth, then nichrome deposition. See, photolithography is the final stage, so it is not performed in the initial stage. So option A and D is not the right answer. C in option B and C. In option B, silicon dioxide growth, then nichrome deposition, then photolithography. Okay, and option C is nichrome deposition, then silicon dioxide growth, and positive and photolithography. We have also seen that there is a wafer, then silicon dioxide growth, then nichrome or nickel is growth for the microheater. Why? Because say, if we directly deposit, if we try to deposit the direct metal on the silicon, it is not possible. That's why the silicon dioxide is present in between the silicon and the metal. Okay, so there is a silicon dioxide present, then nichrome or nickel is deposited, and after that they go through the photolithography process. And what is the first process? To use the positive, covered it with the positive photolithography, then it's soft bake, and after that they go for the UV expose, and after the UV expose they have gone through the development process, and after the development they use the hard bake 120 degrees centigrade, and after the hard bake process they gone through the etching process, and then the remaining photoresist is removed by the dipping the acetone. Okay, so the right option is option B, silicon dioxide growth, then nichrome deposition, and then photolithography. Okay, so next move toward the question number 16. Why is the soft bake performed after the spin coating photoresist on a wafer? The first option is to expose the wafer to UV light. The second option is to remove the solvent from a photoresist. The third option is to etch the nichrome layer. And the fourth option is to deposit the insulating layer. So go through the question carefully and then try to give the answer. Why is soft bake performed as after the spin coating photoresist on the wafer? So the right answer is option B, to remove the solvent from the photoresist. Okay. So next move toward the question number 17. Which material can be used as an insulating layer when fabricating the interdigited electrode on a microheater? The first option is nichrome. The second option is silicon dioxide, and the third option is photoresist, and the last option is silicon. So which material can be used as an insulating layer when fabricating the interdigital electrode on the microheater? If we gone through the lecture, you can see if there is a silicon, then silicon dioxide, and after that there is the nichrome heater. Okay, and after the nichrome heater, if we want to deposit the electrode, then we directly deposit this electrode on the nichrome heater, because both of the material are metal. Okay, so there is a chance that the electrode and the nichrome heater can be shorted. So what we will do, we will deposit a insulating layer in between this nichrome heater and the interdigited electrode. Okay, there we will deposit some insulating layer on the nichrome heater, but we will like open the electrode nichrome heater pad. Okay, and in between this we will deposit the insulating layer. Here is the nichrome heater, like here is the nichrome heater is present. This is the we if open this electrode pad, and on this nichrome heater we will deposit a insulating layer to stop the electrical shorting, and then we will fabricate or deposit the electrode. Okay, so here we will deposit the electrode. So the which oxide layer or some insulating layer is present in between the electrode and the microheater. So which of the insulating layer is used? So they have used the silicon dioxide. Okay, a thin layer of silicon dioxide is used in between the microheater and the interdigited electrode to stop the electrical shorting. So next move toward the question number 18. What is the primary purpose of the biochip discussed in the lecture? The first option is to measure the blood pressure of patient, and the second option is to monitor the glucose level in diabetes patient. The third option is to diagnose the cancer by measuring the mechanical and electrical and thermal property of tissue. And the fourth option is to treat the cancer by delivering the drug to a specific tissue. So what is the right answer? What is the primary purpose of the biochip discussed in the lecture? To measure the blood pressure of patient, to monitor the glucose level in diabetic patient, to diagnose the cancer by measuring the mechanical, electrical, and thermal property of the tissue. And the fourth option is to treat the cancer by delivering the drug to specific the tissue. So please take your time, but at least try to give the answer. So the right option is the option C, to diagnose the cancer by measuring the mechanical, electrical, and thermal properties of the tissue. Okay. So next move toward the question number 19. What are the major properties measured by the biochip to diagnose the cancer? So first option is the blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol level. And the second option is the heart rate, oxygen level, and the respiratory rate. And the third option is mechanical property, electrical property, and thermal property. And the fourth option is visual acuity, hearing ability, and the smell. Okay, wait for 1 minute. I'm coming back in 1 minute. So, what is the right answer? The right answer is option C. Mechanical properties, electrical properties, and thermal properties. Okay. So next move toward the question number 20. What is the significance of measuring the stiffness of a tissue in cancer diagnostic? So first, it helps in determining the oxygen saturation of the tissue. The second option is it helps in determining the mechanical properties of the tissue, which can indicate the presence of cancer. Third option is it helps in measuring the pH level of the tissue. And the fourth option is it helps in calculating the hydration level of the tissue. So please try to find out the right option. What is the significance of measuring the stiffness of a tissue in cancer diagnostic? The first option is it helps in determining the oxygen saturation in tissue. The second option is it helps in determining the mechanical property of the tissue, which can indicate the presence of cancer. And the third option is it helps in measuring the pH level of the tissue. And the fourth option is it helps in calculating the hydration level of the tissue. What is the significance of measuring the stiffness of a tissue in cancer diagnostic? It helps in determining the oxygen saturation of the tissue. Second option is it helps in determining the mechanical property of the tissue, which can indicate the presence of cancer. The third option is it helps in measuring the pH level of the tissue. And the fourth option is it helps in calculating the hydration level of the tissue. The right option is option B. So, what is the significance of measuring the stiffness of a tissue in cancer diagnostic? Option B is it helps in determining the mechanical property of the tissue, which can indicate the presence of a cancer. Okay, the right option is option B. So next move toward the question number 21. What is the function of the SU8 pillar mentioned in the biochip design? First, they act as a conductive structure in the biochip. The second, they store the electrical energy for the device. And the third option is they are used to filter the blood samples. The fourth option is they are decorative features with no functional purpose. So please go through the question carefully and then try to give the right answer. And there is no hurry, take your time. What is the function of the AC weight pillar mentioned in the biochip design? The first option is they act as a conductive structure in the biochip. The second option is they store the electrical energy for the device. And thus option C is they are used to filter the blood samples. And the fourth option is they are decorative feature with no functional purpose. So it is the right answer. The right option is option A. They act as a conductive structure in the biochip. Okay. So next move toward the question number 22. According to the lecture, why it is crucial to avoid the genetically modified food in relation to the cancer prevention. The first option is genetically modified food are always toxic. Second option is genetically modified food may contribute to the development of cancer. The option C is genetically modified food cause the immediate health problem. And the option D is there is no known connection between the genetically modified food and the cancer. So what is the right answer? According to the lecture, why it is crucial to avoid the genetically modified food in relation to the cancer prevention. First option is genetically modified food are always toxic. The second option is genetically modified food may contribute to the development of cancer. The option C is genetically modified food cause immediate health problem. And the option D is there is no known connection between the genetically modified food and the cancer. According to the lecture, why it is crucial to avoid the genetically modified food. In relation to the cancer prevention, first is the genetically modified food are always toxic. The second option is genetically modified food may contribute to the development of cancer, and the option C is genetically modified food cause the immediate health problem, and the fourth option is there is no known connection between the genetically modified food and cancer. So the right option is genetically modified food may contribute to the development of the cancer. Okay. So next we are moved toward the question number 23. But is a key difference in the thermal properties between the normal tissue and cancerous tissue and discussed as discussed in the lecture. So first option is normal tissue have higher thermal conductivity than the cancerous tissue. The second option is cancerous tissue have different thermal conductivity compared to the normal tissue. Third option is normal tissue have the same thermal conductivity as the cancerous tissue. And the fourth option is there is no difference in the thermal properties between the normal cancerous tissue. So go through the question carefully and then try to find out the right answer. What is the key difference in the thermal properties between the normal tissue and the cancerous tissue? Normal tissue have the higher thermal conductivity than cancerous tissue. And the second option is cancerous tissue have different thermal conductivity compared to the normal tissue. And the third option is normal tissue have the same thermal conductivity as cancerous tissue. And the fourth option is there is no difference in thermal properties between the normal and cancerous tissue. The right option is cancerous tissue have the different thermal conductivity compared to the normal tissue. Okay. So next move toward the question number 24. What is the main goal of using a biochip to measure the properties of tissue in cancer diagnostic? First, to treat cancer directly. Second, to diagnose the cancer uh, at an earlier stage by identifying the changes in tissue properties. The third option is to replace the traditional cancer treatment. And the fourth option is to measure the blood flow in the cancerous tissue. So try to go through the question carefully and try to solve the answer. What is the main goal of using the biochip to measure the properties of tissue in cancer diagnostics? What is the main goal of using the biochip to measure the properties of tissue in cancer diagnostics? The first option is to treat the cancer directly. The second option is to diagnose the cancer at an earlier stage by identifying the changes in tissue properties. And third option is to replace the traditional cancer treatment. And the fourth option is to measure the blood flow in cancerous tissue. What is the main goal of using a biochip to measure the properties of tissue in cancer diagnostics? The first option is to treat the cancer directly. The second option is to diagnose the cancer at an earlier stage by identifying changes in tissue property. Third, to replace the traditional cancer treatment. The fourth is to measure the blood flow in cancerous tissue. The right option is option B, to diagnose the cancer as at an earlier stage by identifying cancer in tissue properties. Okay. So next move to the question number 25. What is the purpose of using a photoresist developer after UV expose? The first option is to deposit the metal on wafer. The second option is to remove the exposed photoresist. Third option is to harden the photoresist, and fourth option is to etch the silicon dioxide layer. So please go through the question carefully and please try to solve the answer. What is the purpose of using photoresist developer after UV exposure? We have already discussed, yeah, if we go for the photolithography process, like we want to fabricate any micro heater or any interdigited electrode. In that time, when the silicon, then silicon dioxide, and after that, we have deposited the metal, and on the metal we have decorated it. The after using a spin coating, we have decorated or deposited the photoresist, and after the photoresist, we have gone through the UV exposure, and after the UV exposure, we have gone through the development process, and on the development process, based on their positive or negative photoresist, the portion is which is covered, like if it is the positive photoresist which is not exposed, it become harder, and which is exposed, this become it will develop, it will etch out, or it will develop in the developing solution. Okay, so it will etch out, and the remaining portion is the remaining portion of the positive photoresist is there, and then we go for the etching process. Okay, so now the question is, what is the purpose of the of a photoresist developer after the UV expose? So by using the developing process, what we remove the from which portion of the positive or negative photoresist we don't want. We remove that portion using using the development process. Okay, so the right option is option B, to remove the exposed photoresist. Okay, next we move towards question number 26. Which material is used to etch the silicon dioxide layer from the contact area? The first option is the sulfuric acid, the second option is the buffered hydrofluoric acid BHF, and the third option is the acetone, and the fourth option is the acid. So please go through the question carefully and try to solve the answer. So which one is the right answer? Which option is the right answer? Which material is used to etch the silicon dioxide layer from the contact area? Because if we go for the micro heater, after the micro heater, if we go for the electrode deposition, which type of structure it is? Like there is a silicon, then silicon oxide, and then the micro heater is present. And in micro heater, there is a electrode pad, okay? And on the pad, there is a silicon dioxide layer. And initially, the silicon dioxide is totally is deposited, and after using the photolithography process, like they have used the positive photolithography, and which portion we don't want, removed by the developing process, and then we dip this wafer for remove this portion. Like this portion is the pad, the micro heater pad, and we want to remove this pad. So we want to remove this silicon dioxide on the uh, micro heater pad. So this is the silicon dioxide wafer, silicon dioxide layer. SiO2 layer is present. So what we will do, we will coat it with the photoresist, and we will go for the lithography process. Okay, so if we go for the photolithography process by using the photoresist type and the mask pattern, then we go for the development. After the UV expose, we go for the development. So this portion will remove. So which portion we want to remove? The silicon dioxide portion we want to remove. So the on this portion, the photoresist portion also removed. So then this wafer is deep into the BHF solution. So what will happen? This portion of the SiO2 is removed. So the pad is open. Okay. So it's deep onto into the BHF solution. So which one is the right answer? The option B is the right answer. Okay. Which material is used to etch the silicon dioxide layer from the contact area? So from the contact area, we remove the SiO2 by using the dipping the wafer into the buffered hydrofluoric acid. Okay. So next we move toward the question number 27. After the stripping of the photoresist in acetone, what is the stage of the wafer? So first option is the wafer has the nichrome pattern on an oxidized silicon substrate. The second option is the wafer is fully insulated within the silicon dioxide. The third option is the wafer is ready for the UV exposure again. And the fourth option is the wafer is ready for the soft bake. So which one is the right answer? After stripping of the photoresist in acetone, what is the state of the wafer? First option is the wafer has the nichrome pattern on the oxidized silicon substrate, and the second option is the wafer is fully insulated with the silicon dioxide. The third option is the wafer is ready for the UV exposure again. The fourth option is the wafer is ready for a soft bake. See, as after stripping of the positive photoresist of the acetone, like this process, the photolithography process. Again, the same process, silicon dioxide, and then the metal. And on that metal, there is a photoresist. Okay. So on the photoresist, after that photoresist, there is a UV exposed. Using the mask, there is a UV exposed. The mask pattern will transfer on the photoresist. So this is the mask. And then there is a positive photoresist. And after that, there is a metal layer and then oxide. And after the oxide, there is a silicon wafer. Okay, so this mask pattern is transferred on this photoresist. After that, we go for the development process. Okay, so what happened in that case? The portion we don't want, it will remove the positive photoresist. The portion we don't want, that will remove. Okay, and after that, in below there is a metal layer, and then below there is a oxide layer, and there is a silicon wafer. Okay, so now if they will do for they go for the etching process. So this portion will etch out, which is not covered by the photoresist. It will etch out. Okay. So here is the question is the stripping of the positive photoresist. So before the etching process, there is a positive, like there is a positive photoresist is present. The positive photoresist is present. Okay. Then we go for the etching process. And after the etching process, this photoresist is removed. So what happen in that case if the photoresist is removed? This type of a structure will remain. The silicon dioxide. Then, like this is the metal structure. So if it is removed, the positive photoresist is removed, then this type of metal structure is there. Okay, only the metal nichrome structure is there. This is the nichrome pattern. Okay, so the right option is option A. The wafer has nichrome pattern on the oxidized silicon substrate. Okay, so next move toward the question number 28. Why is it necessary to deposit a second layer of metal for interdigited electrode after the microheater is fabricated? The first option is to improve the conductivity of the microheater. The second option is to avoid the shorting between the microheater and the electrodes by using the insulating layer. And the third option is to increase the mechanical strength of the device. And the fourth option is to protect the microheater from environmental factor. So please go through the question carefully and try to solve the answer. Please try to find out the right answer. The question is why it is necessary to deposit the second layer of metal for the interdigited electrode after the microheater is fabricated. So the answer is option B. To avoid the shorting between the microheater and the electrode by using an insulating layer. Okay. Next, move toward the question number 29. What is the final step in the process flow for fabricating a microheater? The first answer is the depositing the first metal layer. The second option is stripping off the photoresist using the acetone. The third option is performing the RCA cleaning. And the fourth option is conducting a hard bake at 120 degrees centigrade. So please try to solve the answer. What is the final step in the process flow for fabricating a microheater? Depositing the first metal layer, stripping off the photoresist using the acetone, performing the RCA cleaning, and conducting a hard bake at 120 degrees. So what is the right answer? So what is the right answer? What is the final step in the process flow fabricating a micro heater? First is the depositing the first metal layer. Second is the stripping of the photoresist using the acetone. The third is performing the RCA cleaning. And the fourth option is conducting a hard bake at 120 degrees centigrade. So the right option is the option B, the stripping of the photoresist using the acetone. So next move toward the question number 30. How is the diaphragm created for a piezo-resistive pressure sensor? First option is by etching the silicon substrate using the potassium hydroxide or TIMA. The second option is by depositing an additional layer of silicon. The third option is by applying a thick photoresist coating. The fourth option is by using a sputtering process to remove the silicon dioxide. So what is the right answer? How is the diaphragm created for a photo-piezoresistive pressure sensor? By etching the silicon substrate by using the potassium cleavage or TIMA. The second option is by depositing an additional layer of silicon. The third option is by applying a thick photoresist coating. And the option D is by using a sputtering process to remove the silicon dioxide. So the right option is option A. Okay. But if you go through the lecture, you can see this type of diaphragm structure is there. So this is the silicon in between the silicon wafer we etch, and using the TIMA or the KY solution, we like deposit this type of structure is there. We, we fabricate this is the diaphragm type of structure. Okay, so this is the diaphragm type of structure. So the KVH is required the higher temperature. On TIMA, we can go for it at room temperature, and also by when you go for the KOH, it is a rough surface, and TIMA is a smooth surface. Okay, so we mainly go for the TIMA process, but also we can do the KOH solution. Using the KOH solution, we etch the silicon. So this is the right option by etching the silicon substrate by using the potassium KOH, potassium hydroxide or the TIMA. Okay. So next move to the question number 31. So this is the last question. Why it is important to know the H rate of silicon when fabricating the diaphragm for a pressure sensor? The first option is to determine the exact composition of the silicon dioxide layer. The second option is to calculate the amount of photoresist needed. Third option is to control the thickness of the diaphragm by stopping the etching at the right time. And the option D is to adjust the temperature of the etching process. So please go through the question carefully and then try to give the right answer. Why it is important to know the H rate of the silicon when fabricating a diaphragm for pressure sensor. First option is to determine the exact composition of the silicon dioxide layer. The second option is to calculate the amount of photoresist needed. The third option is to control the thickness of the diaphragm and by stopping the etching at the right time. And the option D is to adjust the temperature of the etching process. So which one is the right answer? So the right answer is option C, to control the thickness of the diaphragm by stopping the etching at the right time. Okay, so here we stop the session. We will meet again in the next session next Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Okay, so you can leave. Okay.